good to like just talk right here.
Yeah.
Because Joe Rogan does this, and like other people I see in the podcast, and then like in the middle we're like, oh shit, is it recording? Like then they'll be like, oh yeah. They'll be like, okay, well, welcome to, and then we'll just go on.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff that we talked about doesn't have to be in there, and if you don't want it, and we definitely talked about some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to be. In there.
I think we can put in that besides
certain things.
You know, certain things that we talked about. That we talked about. I wouldn't put that. I'm not gonna put that in there, but
you can put
stuff
mine.
that we
you
talked.
Can definitely put mine.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm good with that.
We could put that in there, but hey, welcome back to Self Revelations. It's your boy B Dab,
and I'm Juan Moreno.
You know, we just been having some amazing conversation, kind of let things come naturally, and you know, we were, you know, having a conversation and talking about things that we've been going through and things that we're dealing with, and you know, naturally, like we've been already going for 15 minutes before we even like started. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
And I feel good about doing that. I like this kind of approach because it feels it feels good. Yeah, it's like an easy flow getting into, you know, our episode and getting into talking about certain things. So, you know, I really do appreciate it and how open and honest we were about, you know, the things that we talked about. So, but, you know, to get back on kind of like, you know, what we were talking about, go ahead and tell me, like, you know, how things has been. You know, for you, I know you've been struggling a little bit, you know, this past couple weeks. And, you know, I've been missing, you know, doing this. Like, obviously, we didn't do it on the day that we thought we would do it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we're here now. And I'm like, you know, I was juiced. He texted me like, yeah, we could do we can record today. We can do our podcast today. I was happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I left work with a smile. Like, I was cheesing, smashing out here. But, you know, how's everything been going for you, bro? Like, how's everything going?
Yeah, I have just been like a lot of reframing, a lot of rewiring some of like the things that I was taught as a child and growing up as a teen to now as an adult, and you know, really facing the music. You know, for me, we were talking about it earlier. I've went through some very traumatic things as a child that I would try to suppress for years. I'm 26 now. Things happened when I was 7 years old. Other events, too, that happened in my life, whether I seen, witnessed, or part of, or did, I would suppress. I wouldn't talk about it, you know what I mean? Because I felt that, you know, I had this idea of fear, shame, and guilt because of what happened to me or because of what I did. And so now I've been digging deep and trying to see, like, why is it that I'm not consistent with certain things? Why is it that I'm afraid to be loved? How come I can't let somebody, you know, shelter me when I'm crying? How come I can't be nurtured? How come I can't nurture? How come I have to be always the one to come from a challenge? How come, you know, why was I so aggressive when I was like younger and a younger kid? Why was I so violent at certain points? You know, why am I insecure with certain things? How come I don't live in the moment as I should? How come I don't love the people that love me, but love them unconditionally? How come I don't maybe love myself unconditionally? Like, all these thoughts, all these things I started to realize is because of what happened to me as a child, that in my most vulnerable state, you know, it compromised me in being vulnerable. Like, I talk about a lot of stuff and with you and a lot of people, and people see me as like some people judge sometimes the things that I say. Some people can identify. Some people do identify. Some people understand. Some people could relate. Some people try to avoid these conversations. I know a lot of people that avoid it because I'm the type of person, I want to talk about some real shit. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about, how are you doing? I'm good. How about you? Good. You watch football? Yeah. All right. See you tomorrow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like having those conversations. I feel like it's not meaningful. We're not going to remember that, you know? You're not going to remember me for that. And so, like, just reframing all this stuff and, like, digging deep to, like, what happened to me and, like, the things that I had to go through and, like, what's stopping me. Why am I not? Yeah, I'm vulnerable. Yeah, I love, and sometimes, yeah, I accept love, but I know it's not full love. It's not unconditional. I'm not free. And so I had to face the music. I had to, you know, I've been working on all these other things, but the one thing I didn't work on is getting past some of the things that I dealt with as a child that, you know, was a burden that I suppressed for years, and like shame and all these things connected to it. And now I'm facing the music because I want to be in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to let go of the perception of time. I'm trying to love unconditionally. I don't want to judge people. I mean, it's going to naturally happen. We're humans, you know, like, but I don't want to guilt myself for it. You know what I mean? I just want to be in the moment. That's the one thing I've been like working through, is just trying to basically heal myself from this. I want to live a free life. I want to, be in the moments, and that's my biggest struggle. And I look back at what happened. I'm like, damn, that's what's been holding you back this whole time. You never worked through it. You've been trying to suppress. You work on all these other things. You do things for escapism to avoid these things. And here I am, facing this. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And I'm willing to, get through it, go through it in order to get through it. So I'm just being very optimistic about it. Certain times they don't feel the best, but, I think as long as I stay positive and everything happens for a reason, in a good or bad way. I don't like to look at it like that. I don't want to, but more like there's a message to be learned here. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm on.
Yeah, exactly. And pushing through those type of things and working through this, like, it's gonna make you a stronger man, And I know me personally, anything I've ever been through, I've dealt with it on my own, and I felt like I felt the best when I dealt with it on my own. But what I was gonna ask you is, any advice for anyone else that might have been through something or been through traumas? Do you recommend them seeking professional help, or do you recommend them seeking help from themselves and, reading, trying to figure out what's, what it is that's holding them back? Maybe stuff from the past, maybe certain habits, maybe, a crowd that they've been around, family members that might be toxic. Do you recommend them going to a professional to talk to somebody, or dealing with these things and examining their circle and their environment and trying to push forward on their own?
Yeah, that was a great question. I think this could potentially help a lot of people. One thing I don't want to do is like give like a one pill fix all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what works for me might not work for you. People that have been in my situation, contemplated, did commit suicide, didn't reach out, kept it in, bottled in, and it causes them to like fall easy to addiction. It makes them fall easy to prostitution, and it causes them to like go the path that might not be, I don't want to like label it, but like it might lead you to a path that you might not want, you know what I mean? Consciously, subconsciously, you might be in that path. So I think for me, I don't have a therapist. I think my community is my therapist. The people around me, myself, I have a strong desire of figuring it out, and challenges. I like challenges. I embrace it. It doesn't feel good. I don't like it sometimes. I have contemplated certain things of ending my life because of what happened to me, right? The shame, the guilt, like the confusion and stuff like that. And for me, I'm just so happy that I didn't go a certain way where I ended it, or, I made a decision that I can't take back. So for me, what helped was I was always constantly trying to educate myself. I always thought that, I could figure this out. Like it's up to me to change it, right? That's the way I grew up. I grew up like, yeah, I'm the oldest out of, like 9 siblings. I had a family together at one point, broken home, whatever. But, they're beautiful people as well. But I always felt alone. And I think I kind of chose it, and I kind of seen it too. And I feel like I take all accountability for myself, but not in a toxic way. I feel like I can figure it out. I can work through it. And I have a desire to try to be better. You know what I mean? And not everybody might not have that desire, You might get consumed because of what happened, and it's just eating you alive. I think if it's bigger than what you can handle, you should get help. I think you need to reach out. Either talk to your family, like talking to you. That's one thing you recommended, and that's a beautiful thing that you did. I might be that person that might need help. You know what I mean? And I think I still do. There might be a time where I might go see a therapist. I think it's inevitable. I think I will, because my thing is I want to be efficient. I don't want to stay stagnant for too long. So my thing is like, I want to get through it quicker, but I want to get through it. My thing is just going through the struggle. If you never struggle, you don't know what happy is. If you don't struggle, you don't know what being wealthy is. If you don't struggle, you don't know what real love is. You have to not have something to then be grateful when you do have it. And when you do have it, when you lose it, you remember. Like, I think you have to go through these type of things. And yeah, I think if it's bigger than you and you can't handle it and it's eating you alive and you don't know what to do, please reach out. Like, you got your friends, you got family. If not, you got like these apps like self-help and like these other like these apps that they're creating to talk to a therapist on a call and stuff like that. Like, it's tremendous. People need that. But yeah, for me, or you're somebody else that is a self-learner, you can self-educate, and you like the challenges in a way, even though when you're in it, it's not good, but you're able to fight through and figure it out and educate yourself and not give up. Do what works for you. But yeah, it's just hard to give like a, you should do this, you know what I mean? But I think that you have always options. You have to cater to like the person you are and try to put yourself in the best situation to be able to, grow and heal. It's healing. We're all healing in a certain thing that we've gone through or have yet to gone through or going through right now. Like, so my biggest thing is like, do what's best for you to put you in position to heal and to understand and let go, so then you could be in the moment and be at peace with yourself, and to not hold no grudge and no resentment, but to be able to love yourself unconditionally and love everyone unconditionally, because everybody's struggling with something. Some people don't say it, some people do. Doesn't matter if you do or not, but speaking about it, only more people will relate, and more people are gonna be able to get this chest off their get this pressure, this weight off their chest by hearing somebody else speak about it. So yeah, I think you can never go wrong with talking to a therapist, and you can never go wrong with figuring it out. But if it gets too heavy on you, yeah, I think you should definitely seek help.
And you articulated yourself, beautifully. Like, that you couldn't have said what you said better, because, like you said, everybody's different. Everybody's experience is different. Everybody's traumas aren't the same. Someone, who maybe didn't go through as much as you, maybe you're thinking about their trauma 10 times more, and it's really eating away at them. You know what I'm saying? Or someone who did go through more than you is numbing that with something else. You know what I mean? So, like you said, if there's something that you're dealing with and you feel like you need help, feeling like you can't breathe, feeling like you're anxious, feeling like you don't have anybody to talk to, start somewhere. Get a counselor, get a mentor that you can talk to, a best friend, a cousin, a brother, anything, and have that type of conversation. Because at the end of the day, like, when you don't have these type of conversations, like, that's when things go wrong. You know what I mean? When stuff is bottled up, and now that person is maybe lashing out at something that was completely different than what they were going through. They might lash out at somebody at Walmart over something that really wasn't even that serious. You know what I mean? Just because they didn't have that type of conversation. So, it's always beneficial to find someone and address these things, because there's people that went to the grave without talking about some things. You know what I mean? And that's not no way to live. You know what I'm saying? So, I know me personally, I've been saying it since we started this podcast, having this podcast and being able to talk about certain things, and to talk about my wrongs and talk about the stuff that I've been anxious about, or stuff that I've been dealing with, has helped me tremendously, and hearing your testimony on things and your drive and will to push through, it's helped me to address and come to balance with the stuff that I've been dealing with. So, I appreciate, the platform that we do have and the community that we do have with the stuff that, we're creating. Because at the end of the day, we're creating a platform not only for people to just come and watch a podcast. You know what I'm saying? We're creating a platform to where if somebody's dealing with something, someone goes in the comments and has a conversation or talks about something, someone else can go in there and encourage them. It might not even be us. We might not even be in that conversation, but somebody can go in and, hey, I was abused as a child. Hey, I was bullied in high school and elementary. I never got through this. This, and this happened to me. Like, we want to build this community that people can come and feel safe. People can come in without, feeling like they've been judged or any judgment, or seek advice. It might not have no brothers, sisters, or family members that they can go to. You know what I'm saying? Like, not, we're blessed to have siblings. We're blessed to have people that we can go to, mentors, people at your job, people that I've played with, coaches that I've played with, that I can go talk to. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that a lot of people have. So, you know, I appreciate, you know, everything that you're, you know, opening up about, and how you're articulating yourself, and the knowledge that you're spitting to, you know, people that could be here listening to this episode. And you know, it fills my heart with like hope and happiness, because I know you're gonna get through this, just like everything else you've ever got through. You're gonna get through it, you know. And um you know, I have full faith that you can, and that this is just another obstacle that is going to send you to that next level, because I know you, and I know all the stuff that you've been through. You know what I mean? And every time, like, there's nothing that slows you down. You might hit a speed bump, but you're going to continue rising. So um I want you to keep going, and I want you to, you know, keep talking. You know, anybody that is dealing with something, you know, talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, conversate with it, pray about it, write it in your journal, whatever you need to get the those things off your chest. Because Patty the Batty, when he won when he won his last UFC championship, he's like, you know, he made a claim about, you know, mental health. You know, he's like, I'd rather you cry on my shoulder than me carry a casket. You know what I mean? And that's strong, and that's powerful. That's real. You know what I mean? Like, I 10 times out of 10, I'd rather my friends cry on my shoulder or cry on the phone. You think I'm gonna carry? Like, you think I'm gonna call you a bitch because you're crying about like something that you've been through? No, fuck no. You know, like we're adults, bro. Like, we're not in that age no more where you just bottle everything down. You know what I'm saying? And laugh it off. You know what I mean? Like we're in a state of healing. Like, there's too much that's available for us now for us to not address these things. You know, we have a plethora of information on media, you know, with our peers, that we can, you know, look and see like, oh, there's other people that have been through this. There's people that I know that have been through this, that we've talked about it, or someone who has gave me information and light on a situation, and has helped me in a way, you know. So, you know, we're definitely living in a time where, like, you know, we're controlling, like, we can control our mentality, we can control our destiny, and the stuff that we've been through. So, you know, we got to keep pushing and keep fighting, and it's a grind. You know, life ain't gonna be easy. Stuff we've been through ain't gonna be easy. Nothing that we go through is gonna be a walk in the park. Everything's gonna be, you know, difficult. But it's how we take in that adversity, how we take in these obstacles, and how we get through it is what's gonna determine us as a man or a woman. Like, what's gonna be the defining factor in, you know, how we are.
No, that was beautiful. Honestly, yeah, 'cause it's so true. It's like, I think we forget that we have a choice. We forget that, you know, it's okay, and that's why it's good to surround yourself with people that are willing to, you know, are on the same boat, or they're on the same frequency of trying to heal. They're trying to get better. They're trying to, you know, not limit themselves. They're trying to improve. Like, those type of people are like type of people I want to surround myself with, because they're not gonna judge me. You know what I mean? And I have people in my life that I love so much that judge. You know what I mean? But I always remind myself that, you know, any comment, any opinion, any view on anything that I do, whatever they express, is the way how they think. It has nothing to do with me. They might be talking to me directly based off whatever I think, but they're really just showing me how they operate, how they think of this, how they view this, how they feel. And who am I to tell them they're wrong? I know myself. What's understood don't gotta be explained. What I think about today will change tomorrow. What that person thinks about right now will change tomorrow. You might be so focused on these other things and you judge, but you find out you have cancer. I bet you're not gonna think about the same things anymore. I bet you're not gonna value these things of who you voted for, and the clothes that you're wearing, the shoes, the car. Like, your health is now like compromised. You're more focused on like, man, I gotta get better. I'm just trying to be healthy again. Like, oh, I can't, like, my family, you know, I'm gonna die. You have this fear, And like, I think sometimes we forget that we value all these other things that, you know, sometimes it takes something tragic to happen for us to wake up and realize like what's really important. And some of the things I always realize that's very important, especially in times that are in dark times, like the things that comes into mind is your health, the people closest to you. You've been so focused on this job that you forgot to have these conversations and show love, and love unconditionally. You've been judging them. You haven't talked to your siblings in years because of who they voted for or what they believe in, what religion. And it's like, damn, man, like sometimes I had to remind myself that you have to love people unconditionally. It starts with you loving yourself first and letting go and being okay with what had happened in your past, or what happened in the now, or what somebody said to you as a child or as a teen or as an adult. Like, you have to heal from these things to let go, to then be in the moment. That's my biggest struggle, is like throughout my whole life, I'm 26 years old. I could count maybe 10 hours of being 26 years of actually being in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, I'm obviously rough estimating, but it feels like, I'm always caught up in my head. It's hard for me to get out. So I would do these things, escapism, and I would bottle these emotions, and I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to be an inconvenience to my friends and my family. Like, they're struggling with shit. They don't care, or who am I to bother them with my stuff? And I gotta figure this out. This is on me. Like, in all these things, but you forget that people will drop things for you, especially if your life's on it. Like, you're contemplating the worst. Like, people are willing to help you. They'd rather have you, just like how Patty the Batty says. That's a phenomenal name. But like, he literally like said, like, I'd rather have you cry on my shoulder than me carry your casket. That's power. Like, there's a lot of truth in that. Like, I don't care what the hell's going on. I don't care what time it is. I don't care how tired I am. Like, if you need somebody, I'm here. And I want the same also too. I mean, I would like to, I don't know if I want, but like, I would like the same, or to feel that I can also like call and talk to somebody. But I understand, pride and your ego sometimes gets in the way, and you feel like you're a burden, and you're like, no. But when your life depends on it, you're really hurting, just call. Let go of the judgment, let go of the expectation, let go of being an inconvenience, or what time, or what the weather is, or what's going on. And like, if you have somebody that's willing to hear you out, and especially if they've said it, like, hey, whenever you need me, I'm here. Like, take the opportunity. Like, because there's so many people that we know and heard of, and you see all the time, that like Robin Williams and like these other people that ended up tragically ending their life because they felt so alone. Like, we're not meant to be alone. The worst thing they do to you in prison is put you alone. And I think it's, what is it called?
Solitary confinement.
Solitary confinement. Perfect. Yeah. That's the worst thing you could do to a human being, is put them by themselves. They're supposed to be in a community. They're supposed to feel the need of love and like non-judgment, and people willing to help you, and especially when you're down. And sometimes I think about that. I had my somebody close to me, my dad, basically. I'll say it, my dad. He has his brother, a beautiful human being, had an addiction to drugs, and he had everything. He had a perfect family, had a nice house, all this stuff, new car at that time. And then drugs got in the way, and addiction. And I remember I would judge my uncle because of the drugs, and like, I wouldn't cherish him. I wouldn't love him for him. If I was in his shoes, I'd be the same way. Who knows what he went through. Addiction there's a reason why people fall to addiction. I mean, it's not just one thing, but like, one thing I always start to see is like a pattern of like what happened to you as a child, and trauma, and you find an escape. That's why people like food. That's why people like alcohol. That's why people like all these other drugs, or even working out. Like, there's good habits that end up being bad too. A little bit too much of anything can kill you. So all these addictions that happen, and I sometimes you get so caught up in judging them, and you don't love them for who they are, even though it's not what you want them to be. Sometimes you have to accept them. Yeah, you have to create space, and you have to do those type of things, but you have to love people. And that's a very like hard thing to do, because you're so caught up in like the inconvenience of what they do to your life, or like, that's my brother, a crackhead, or like, that's my sister and prostitute. Like, man, that's some hard shit to deal with. That's a hard reality to face. And And like we forget about these things, that we are made to love and not judge. And I mean, God is the perfect example. God doesn't judge. Like, there's one thing you told me, like God would like wash the homeless and stuff like that, no judgment at all, you know. But then there's people that judge other people for what they believe in, or like how they do things and how they sin, but yet God never judged. So why are you? Yeah. If you are judging other people and yet your God doesn't judge, it's contradiction. It's hypocritical, and you only suffer when you judge other people. I know you judge yourself, and I do the same thing too. I judge other people because I judge myself sometimes, and so that's not really a healthy way. It's a normal thing. We're gonna judge, but the same way you judge, the same way you don't, you have to love that unconditionally. Be okay. You know, you're human. You're gonna have that, but just don't make it, you know, feel guilty for certain things. Mm-hmm. And you know, a lot of people in life are motivated and live by fear and guilt, and especially with COVID, what it did to people, like 6 feet social distancing, be by yourself. Never really mentioned to focus on your mental and physical health the whole time. Take this vaccine, it'll fix it all. Yet you still keep eating like shit, and you still think not healthy because it hurts you and you hurt the other people around you. Like, you forget about the things that really matter. And yeah, I know this is a lot, but like, yeah. And like, even me, I judge myself with this. I'll be like, oh, I'm talking too long. I'm just like, damn, man, like, live in the moment, man.
If you
just
talk. And you going?
Yeah, it's like, just talk.
Go. Don't feel judged.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I'm working through it too. Like, to me, it's like Mozzie. Like, I love it. Like, it's a beautiful struggle. It really is. I love it. Everybody needs a little bit of struggle in life for you to know the good in life. So, and I'll end that part with that. That part.
Yeah, facts. And, you know, going back to what you said about, you know, Jesus washing the feet of, you know, some of the people. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Some of his disciples, you know. And it's like today, like that's like you going to the store and washing the feet of a homeless person. You know what I'm saying? Like, having that much humility and doing that takes a lot, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let alone like I barely even want to touch my own feet. Let alone touch somebody else's. Yeah. So it's like, you know, having that much love for someone and being humbling yourself to be able to be like, you know, I'm gonna service more for this person than I am for myself is beautiful. It's like it shows you the amount of love that you know Jesus had while he was on earth. And you know, similarly, we should want to show that same kind of love towards one another. You know, we shouldn't, you know, judge and beat up one another because of how a person looks, race of a person, what that person likes. You know, like you said, who that person voted for. You know, at the end of the day, like, we make this thing called life harder than what it really is. We judge, we put all these politics and everything into this world, and we shake up our own world, you know, and really it could be so simple, you know, through greed, through, you know, everything that's going on right now. We make it hard. Who's to say, like, why do we pay rent for something that they didn't create? Why do we pay rent to be on something that was here before we were here? You know what I mean? And it's all about greed. You know, like, everybody that, you know, is living today and everyone who ever lived can all live in the state of Texas. In all reality, can all live in the state of Texas. But with greed, with people having to have something in their pocket, with people having to have some form of income for the things that they do, you know, and it just shows like not addressing the amount of homeless that are in our communities and treat them like they're not human. You know, it all starts there, and that's why we're at a steady decline in you know, our societies. There's full homeless communities in each city I've ever been in, bro. In Modesto alone, there's a whole strip or a street to where they have all their tents set up, and they're all just living on the street on both sides. They're just chilling like their everyday life, just kicking it. There's like a mobile home there set up, and there's like hella tents right next to each other, and they're just over there vibing. Why is nobody going to help those people, bro? Why is there not more programs and more people trying to help one another?
Right.
Everybody's thinking about themselves at the end of the day. And that's not what we're here to do, bro. Like, we're not here for everyone to just be selfish and everyone to just make sure that their children are good. Yeah, you're supposed to take care of your family, but bro, like, if you can bless as many people as you can and keep and still be in a position to help your family, why not, bro? But not a lot of people have that in their heart. Not a lot of people want to do those type of things. Not a lot of people want to give out free lunches at school. Not a lot of people want to support these families in need. You know what I mean? But when I was a kid and I was coming up, I was blessed. You know what I'm saying? People had blessed me that had more than what I had. Schools have blessed me with having free lunch and free food. You know what I'm saying? Like, like people have came to my house bringing my mom food for us because we couldn't go out and get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, donated clothes and stuff to us. So there's people that are out there that want to do more, that want to help someone else. Because I'm sure if someone wants to bless you with $100 million, you would make a whole change in like your whole community. Am I right?
No, for sure. I would give mostly all of it back, to be honest. That's the whole reason of life, I feel.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're put here to do, bro. And like, you know, humbling ourselves and doing things more for others than we do for ourselves, what we're supposed to do, bro. And, you know, it's beautiful to see. And you know, one of my favorite like quotes from my favorite movies is like the Book of Eli. And when he was talking about the Bible and he was talking about like why he sees, like, what did you see in this Bible? What did you get out of it? Yada yada yada. When Mila Kunis, I think that's her name, was asking him what do you get out of this whole Bible? And he was telling her, like, you know, do more for others than you do for yourself. Like, that's the main objective of being here on this earth. And from the stuff that I read, it's kind of the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's so beautiful, so simple, but yet so beautiful in the same sense. Because it could all be that easy if everybody just had that same mentality and everybody looked out for each other and everybody was, you know, would humble themselves and everybody wasn't greedy, bro. Everything would be so simple. But that's not the world that we live in. You know, this is reality. So, you know, but it all starts with us, bro. You know, like, you can make an impact in your family, people around you. I can make an impact in everybody I come in contact with, whether it's work, you know, you go bumping into someone at a store, coaching, anything. You can have an impact in any and everybody. A little kid that you meet, maybe one of your friends' children, like, you can have an impact on that person. You never know. And that's why, like, you know, at my games and stuff, every little kid that I seen and made eye contact, I was always signing jerseys. I was always talking to them. Hey, you can be where I'm at, like, in no time. Yada, yada. Keep listening to your parents. Keep doing this. Yada, yada. You always want to plant those seeds, bro, because you never know what's going to grow to be. You know? Because when I was younger, a seed was planted in me. You know what I mean? Like, no, you can be a professional. You got to keep doing. You keep working. Keep grinding, and you can get there. You know what I'm saying? And that thought was planted in my head, like, I can do that. Even though I had a lack of confidence, that seed was planted. Like, I can do this. Or I can graduate high school. Or I can graduate junior college. I can graduate college. I can get my bachelor's. You know, I can go professional. And all this stuff is happening in front of my eyes, and I'm surprised at myself. You know, all from my parents planting seeds. Other people, counselors, whether or coaches, planting seeds that you can do whatever you put your mind to. And I think that's so beautiful, and that's what we're supposed to do, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes it takes a health scare or something tragically to happen to you, to lose a finger, or somebody in your life to pass away or get a diagnosis, or something tragic has to happen to you to realize, like, what really is true, what really is the meaning of life, is to give your gift. And your gift is usually love, compassion, empathy, giving all of yourself to like your people to then learn from your experience or whatever knowledge that you have that you specialize in to then help put other people in better situations to ignite that fire within them and be that light, like clear, be the person that's the light that's in front of the smoke in the mirror of people's perception of life. Like that's what I always feel like. That's what I always wanted to do is to give more than what you receive. For me, it's like if I get anything, I'm just thankful. But when you give more than you receive, you end up getting more back. And so that is such a very true thing. It's like, and the thing is, it's funny because we hear this all the time. Whether you read the Bible, whether you read a book, whether you watch a inspirational movie, excuse me. There's always a certain pattern, a certain thing that always getting mentioned. Give more, love, don't judge. People are also suffering just like you. You have value. You know, you're here for a reason. Like, find your reason. Let go of society's way of things. Let go of how you should act and how you should be. Like, you have all of it right here. Like, you know, like your integrity. You have, like, your heart. You know, like, you have these things that give you these, like, reminders. Like, hey, you're supposed, like, why are you doing this? Like, this is not. You have these like your gut instincts, like like if I did something wrong, you feel it. You're like, that was gross. Why did I lie about that? Or why did I just take this money? How come I stole this candy bar? Or like little things like that. You get that like the integrity, like that feeling, that gut feeling of like that wasn't good. Or then you also get gut feelings like when you did something very good, you open the door for somebody and the person didn't say thank you, and you're just like, at least I'll open the door. Sometimes I'd be like, well, fucking, you're welcome. But like, sometimes I'm like, you know what, whatever, they might be really, they got some shit going on then in their head or whatever's going on in their day, and they don't know what gratitude is. They're not thankful. They're so caught up in their rat race. They're so caught up in this infinite amount of money. And that's one thing too I've worked through. I didn't mention is like letting go of this perception of time and letting go of money. Like I think if I just continue to be myself and plant these seeds and create an impact, money's gonna come. Like focus on your passion, do what you love to do, but do it because you love to do it. Don't do it for no dollar amount. The moment you start doing things for a dollar amount, you'll never get it. The moment you think money will solve everything and it's gonna solve your mental health and you're gonna finally be happy and stuff like that, if you use it strategically and useful and you work on that and you invest into your mental health and physical health with money, then perfect. But people think money will solve everything. Like you're gonna be happier, you're gonna be better. Once I get this, I'll be able to love myself. Once I get this money, once I do these things, I'll be okay with myself. People are gonna love me. People are gonna respect me. It doesn't work out like that. Like, and Mike Tyson said it too. Now, I think we talked about the last podcast, or I don't know when, but I remember like people who say like money solves everything never had money. So like my thing is like it starts with like, you know, money only elevates you. If you're a shitty person, an asshole, and you take money, you're an opportunist, and you steal, and you do these things, when you make more money, you have this money, you're going to just be more of that. But if you start from, like, the foundation of who you are and your integrity and be honorable and be loving, like, it only uplifts you more of what you are. So, and I think, like, you know, it all starts with who you are and who you want to be and, you know, struggling, going through these type of things, go through life. Life is not good or bad. It's to be experienced. Don't live in fear and guilt and shame too much. Let go of judging yourself. Don't take life so serious. Experience it. Have fun with your relationships, with your relationship with yourself. How you talk to yourself is power. Like your words that you say to yourself. If you say like I'm bad with names, you've now labeled yourself to be bad with names. But if you're like, you know what, I don't want to be bad with names. I want to be able to, you know people's names. I want people to feel heard. I want people to be known. And I see that all the time. Like I might meet somebody one time, I see him an hour later, like, oh hey Dave, how you doing? Person would be like, oh, he knows my name. Like, oh shit, like I'm nobody, you know what I mean? Still, but like it does a lot when you try. Like you don't just give in to like how you are at this moment and like what you thought. Like you have to be able to get over yourself. Like get over yourself. You're not all that. You're just another human being. You're supposed to give. Like you're not God. You know what I mean? Like I guess you could model God, and I think that's a blueprint. Some of the philosophies I love and I live by naturally without even, I never read the Bible. I never studied the Bible. I never did no scriptures. I never I just knew these like certain things that made me feel good and how I wanted to be, and I didn't realize a lot of that stuff is in the Bible. And like you mentioned it to me, somebody else mentioned it to me, and it's just like there's some truth in there. Then you know what I mean. You don't have to be a religious person to follow the steps of what fulfills life and what makes you feel good, and to give back, and you receive more, and you don't judge, and you love people unconditionally. You love yourself, and instead of judging that person, you love them for who they are and embrace them and let them figure it out. Let them see what they need to work on, not you tell them. And that's one thing I've been working on, especially in relationships with the beautiful women that I had in my life and have in my life, and my friends, and male, doesn't matter what you are, trans, all these other things. Like, I'm not calling them things, but you know what I mean? Like all these different, different types of lives. Who am I to judge you? You know what I mean? And don't judge nobody else because they're not how you look or they're not what you believe. Like, life is meant to be to love. I'm sorry, you're supposed to love unconditionally. Mm-hmm. So if you judge other people and you love people on conditions, I know you love yourself on conditions, and you're not fully free. And my thing is, the reason why I work on all these things is to be free. I want to be free. I want to be able to enjoy the moment and love people. So, and sometimes you have to face the fire, touch the fire, and learn the hard way sometimes for you to really see what's true and what's right for you. And yeah, don't take life so serious, man. Life is to be made to be enjoyed. It's meant to be fun, not to be a burden. So, and sometimes you got to work through this type of stuff, and with trial and error, with having great people in your life, with having this courage and will to get over it and to fight through and understand why you are how you are and how to help put yourself in a better situation, whether you need religion, a therapist, a friend, yourself, a book, an interview, a podcast, anything, that the options are there to find yourself. And that's the beautiful thing about life, is the mission to find yourself and understand yourself. And that's a never-ending journey, which is a beautiful one.
Yeah, beautiful. And what would you recommend, for someone, how you just explained, like, not taking life too serious? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Like, for someone who might not know, like, something that the things that you're talking about, like when you say, don't take life too serious,
Yeah, like, don't chase the money. Like, don't chase this reputation, this title, this color of a vest, or your position, your salary, like all these material titles and labels, society's way of how you should approach things, and like what society values that you might not actually really value. Some people are in it for the love of the game, like Jordan, Kobe, like LeBron, like, excuse me, these certain business like people, certain pastors and certain people of like loving the process and not chasing a certain number or a label or a position or whatever perception. It's like, don't take yourself too serious. Like, I remember Kobe in an interview, he was saying that they were like, I think Kobe had missed like 8, he had airballed like 6 shots, game-winning shots, or not in the game, but he like airballed a few shots, and down the stretch, it was like his first season, I think. And I remember Shaq, he was saying that Shaq went up to him and put his hand over his shoulder trying to motivate him, and Kobe's like, man, get the fuck up off me. Like, why? Like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. What, I missed a few shots? Well, I airballed in front of a crowd, sold out crowd in a playoff game. Like, who cares? Like, like, who cares what they say? You know what I mean? I'm in love with the game. Like, I'm gonna get better. I'll be better. You know what I mean? I'll reanalyze myself. The reason why I airball these shots is because I wasn't that strong on my legs. Guess what I want to do in the off season? Work. Like, do what I gotta do. In love with the process. Like, what are you so fearful of? What they say, the analyst is gonna say, Kobe don't got it, he's not a closer, or like all these things. Like, you big yourself so much. Some people like sometimes judge themselves so much. Like, you take yourself so serious, and when you do that so much, you judge yourself, and then you're not free to then work. You might like now accept that what people say, because you hold yourself so high. Like, Kobe said that, like, you have to get over yourself. Don't take it so serious. Just get better. Be better. That's it. Just be better. Do your best. And yeah, so when I say like don't take life so serious, it's like, life is not meant to like, reach a destination really. There's no such thing as a destination of happiness. Like there's just moments of that. You know what I mean? Like, so when I say don't take things so serious, is don't take what you believe so serious. The things are gonna change every day. Life is gonna hit you in the face, and you're gonna be like, damn, I don't really give a fuck about this Gucci belt. I give a fuck about seeing my mom who I haven't seen because of an argument we had, or like I don't give a fuck what this person said about me. I still love them. They're good people. They did some good things for me. They did something petty. Who am I to judge them? And like, I'm gonna regret if they die and I never had that conversation because I held on to something that bothered me. Like, don't take shit so serious. Like you only got see, I don't want to do that time thing, but like you are only here for a beautiful amount of time, and why sit here and take yourself so serious that you avoid the experiences so much? Like, it's a process. Enjoy the process. Like, enjoy this experience of life. So yeah, when I mean that you don't take things so serious, it's like don't take things so serious that you forget to enjoy all these things. Like, I almost teared up when you were talking about that, bro. Like the confidence that your family gave you, and like graduating high school, going to JUCO, going from there, going to 4-year, 2-year, like getting your bachelor's, like that's fucking incredible. I don't even know if you value that.
If it wasn't for them, bro, I wouldn't have went to college. Like my mentality was like, if I don't go to college for football, I'm not going to college. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't a school person, bro. It was nothing like I could like manifest in my head where I was like, I see myself walking across that stage, or I see myself getting my AS, or I see myself getting my bachelor's and stuff like that. It just wasn't something that I could imagine, even if I tried. So, like, when these things were happening and my family was motivating me, like, get your education, do this, do that, it was certain things that, like, they were pushing me to do, and I was just like, damn, like, seeing the end result of it, it's like, through college and stuff and pushing through it, like, not seeing the light in the situation and pushing through and still being successful, it just made me feel like I can do that with any situation. You know what I mean? Like if it's a job and they give me too much that I feel like I can bear, I can get through it as long as I just grind and I just take one thing at a time. You know what I'm saying? Because the same thing I did with my classes. Took them one at a time. Took care of my shit and handled each assignment, handled each homework, each test, each study, each project, and knocked it out. It doesn't matter, like, if someone finishes before me, someone finishes in 10 minutes, right? Or someone finishes in 2 semesters, 3 semesters. My pace, I'm going at my pace. You can't rush my progress. You can't rush what I got going. I'm going to finish when my time is right. I graduated junior college in 3 years. Graduated my 4 year in 2. Like a lot of people graduated before me. A lot of people transferred and got their degrees before me. Cool. I got mine at the end of the day. I'm not comparing to y'all. I'm comparing to myself. B-Dab of 3 years ago wouldn't have wanted to get his degree. I do. I pushed through and made my accomplishments and the goals that I set out for myself through grinding and through preparation.
Who was this? It was, oh man, I heard this. He's a Mavs owner. He's on Shark Tank. I love this guy, bro. I love this guy. I just watch his interviews all the time. I don't know why.
What's his name?
Steve? No, Steve something. No. Oh my god, I can't. I have his literally his picture.
I know who you're talking about.
It's not Kevin O'Leary. It's not Mr. Wonderful.
No, I know who you're talking about though.
I'm so mad that I can't remember his name.
He's funny. He's really funny actually. Yeah.
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban has said something that clicked with me, and I actually thought about it before I heard it, and I always kind of thought about my successes in life and my failures in life and how to do things is how to do anything is how you can do everything. And so that's the one thing I remember clicked. I'm like, if I did this and I was successful, or if I failed and I overcame and I prospered. Like, I could do this with any single thing. That's what the confidence builds. And I truly believe that I can do anything I put my mind to. Anything that I really want to, that I have an interest in, I could get good at it. The reason why I started getting pretty good at golf now is because I went to Top Golf this year in Vegas, and I couldn't even hit the fucking ball off the tee. I was like, so I mean, it's good to have these emotions. You should. That's what I'm saying. Like, fear, shame, guilt, I think it's a natural human thing. I'm not saying like you'll ever get to the point where you don't have that, because you will. It's part of a human experience. Those things make you better depending on how you internalize it, and you don't stay in it too long.
Yeah.
And so I was shamed, guilt. I was telling everybody I don't suck at a lot of things. So like, if I don't do good at this at first, my mindset is like, oh, we gonna work this shit out. Like, I need to get good at this. So like, I remember that one day, the next week, I think the following weeks after, a friend of mine, John, he started going golfing because he was good at first. The first time he ever went golfing was at Top Golf too. The same day we were there together, and like everybody else, and he was knocking them. I was just like, I ain't gonna lie, I was jealous. I had some envy. This bitch. I was like, he's over here just swinging it. And I was like, what is he doing? And I would try and I would fail. And I was just like, oh, no, we're going to work this out. And I remember the next following weeks, got my golf club set. He motivated me to do it, too. He like, helped me buy some of my stuff and I paid him back and whatever. But he pushed it because I wanted to get good at this. And I think golf is fun, like the mental thing. The one thing I love about golf is, like, you could be good one day and be terrible the next day. And I like that. I don't like complacency. Like, sometimes I feel like I get too good at something real fast, and the challenge isn't there no more. And sometimes because I'm not in it long as I should, though. Maybe I just like, whatever.
The macho kicks in.
Yeah, like, I'm good.
Oh, I was serving last week.
Yeah, I'm fulfilled now. I don't need to work on this no more. But golf, damn, like, I went golfing yesterday. Got blisters in my hand and everything, and I sucked. And I was doing good prior. I had stopped going for like a few weeks. And I went again yesterday, and I was like, oh, my God, I have to restart again. And so, like, I like that, like, trial and error, failure, getting over it, learning how to do this, from coming from a place that you didn't know how to handle situations to now be able to handle yourself, not knowing how to change not knowing how to change a tire to now knowing how to do it, not knowing how to do an oil change to now knowing how to do it, all these things that you learned to do when you didn't know before. How to do anything, you can do everything. And so that's where confidence comes from. Confidence comes from like the failures and being able to do it. Confidence comes from your strengths overcoming, or like, the things that you do well that people look at like it's hard or difficult. Like me doing 7 miles almost every other day, and like to other people that's like crazy. And I tell people, don't even tell me the weather. It's 100 degrees, 105 sometimes, or 103, whatever. I don't even care. I'm running. I'm focusing on my pace. I'm breathing. I'm making sure if I have to stop, I'll stop at that end of the block. Yeah. End up 3 miles later past that block, and I'm like, oh, wait, I didn't even have to stop. It was all right here. And, like, pushing yourself and, like, getting through the confidence, like, going through those struggles really just teach you that you can really do anything you want as long as that confidence is built off your strength, not your weaknesses. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, fact.
Weaknesses will turn into strengths if you like to.
Yeah. And I really appreciate what you said about, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Is because, like, I feel like I noticed that when I tried to attempt school. Because in football hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows for me. You remember how little I was coming into high school?
Your mom posted a picture
I was scared.
A video, bruh. I thought that was like Sunny or Ray. I was like, who is that?
No, for real,
like,
bro.
No way,
like,
that was you.
In all reality, like, nothing has been all sunshine and rainbows for me, regardless. Like, basketball, football, like, nothing. But I've never, when I look back at my whole journey with anything I've ever been in, and with even relationships, I've never quit. You know what I mean? I've stayed in relationships that I should have ended a while back because I wanted it to work with that person, even though I know it wasn't the best for me. With football, I wanted to quit football my sophomore year.
Wow.
Because it was too stressful. What? I didn't want to play quarterback. I didn't want the stresses and pressures on me. I wanted to play corner. I wanted to play receiver, and that's it. I didn't care about their needs. How am I supposed to get recruited from playing quarterback? But at the end of the day, sacrificing and just keeping the grinding. Okay, what do you guys need? Okay, I'm going to grind and put the work towards that because I know that's what y'all need. Oh, going into college. I'm not a school person. How am I supposed to get through college? How am I supposed to get through these classes? How am I supposed to get through these math classes, these sociology classes? How am I supposed to get through all this stuff? Oh, wow, experiencing it. Oh, I can do this actually. Oh, this test. Actually, I remember this from going over it when I was in my dorm and I was doing this and that. Oh, how am I supposed to pass and do all this stuff in a whole new state by myself with football? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Actually, being on this regimen, having, study hall and stuff like that. Oh, I'm actually having time to actually prepare for my classes and study for the test that I have coming up. It wasn't in me to quit with anything that I had, any relationship, anything that I've ever been in. It wasn't in me to quit. So I knew when this school stuff, I was going through all of this, whenever I hit a rough point, wherever I was depressed, whenever I was going through shit, I knew I couldn't quit. It couldn't even cross my mind. Like my mind, my mentality wouldn't even allow me to think like, if I just give up right now, I'll be good. It's like running. Mm-hmm. You know, I can't be like, oh, I'm gonna jog a mile and then be like, I'm gonna jog a quarter mile and then jog back home. Ain't nobody watching. Voices in the back of my head is always telling me, hey, bro, you better finish that shit. Mm-hmm. You better keep going. Mm-hmm. You better grind. Nobody's watching, but you know in the back of your head, like, you ain't no bitch. Like, you gotta finish. You said that you was gonna do this, you better finish. Right. You said you was gonna work out, you better finish. You posting all these workouts, you better finish these workouts. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was no quit in me in anything that I started. So like when you go back to what you were saying, like how you do one thing is how you do everything. That's 100% true, because it applies to everything. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When I wasn't at my best with my mental health, when I wasn't at the best, when I was in sports, when I wasn't at my best, when I was, going through school, I still chose to keep going and I got through it. Relationships, I got through it. Mm-hmm. Family problems, I got through it because I didn't refuse to give up and lay down. Dang. So it's just, it really shows like grinding through shit is genuinely, like I'm telling you, once you get on that other side, bro, you can see. And I seen that at an early age. Get on that other side of finishing the season. Get on that other side of finishing a school year. Get on that other side of getting through depression, anxiety. Mm-hmm. You can get through anything if you put your mind to it. Mm-hmm. But you got to have that pact in your head like, I can get through it. Right. I can do this. I can do that. I have these goals for myself. I'm going to set it out. Oh, my name, I'm Juan, and I know I want to jog 30 miles this month, and I don't want to drink no alcohol. I know I'm going to do it, and nobody's going to tell me different. Mm-hmm. You got to have that confidence within yourself and know that whatever you set out for yourself, you're going to do it. So it's only a matter of time.
Right. Damn. I think we should end it. That was good. That's a lot. This is a good one. This is definitely a good one, bro.
I'm telling you.
I called it.
You did.
I knew it was going to happen.
Early on, you did. But, hey, once again, we want to give you guys all a big shout out. Thank you for 3,000 followers on IG, 10,000 or 8,000 to 10,000 on TikTok. We genuinely love each and every one of y'all. We appreciate y'all. You guys are, constantly giving us, positive feedback and supporting us. We genuinely appreciate you guys, man. And, like the conversations that we had today, like we're going to continue to have conversations like this. And we love and appreciate everything you guys are doing for us and the community that we're building. So, we thank you guys once again for joining in on Self Revelations, and we'll see you guys next week. Jeez.